Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a report by Liberty Times, U.S. President Donald Trump stated in a podcast interview broadcasted on June 3rd that Iran has agreed to abandon its pursuit of nuclear weapons. Trump indicated that if negotiations proceed smoothly, he would be willing to meet with Iran's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, at some point, noting that Khamenei has been actively involved in the talks to end the conflict and is highly respected by his people. Trump reiterated his belief that the military campaign against Iran has been a major success, claiming that Iran's military capabilities have been effectively crushed. However, he also revealed that the United States naval blockade on Iranian ports and waterways could potentially continue until Labor Day, which falls on September 7th. Despite this possibility, Trump expressed optimism that the situation is unlikely to drag on that long and expects the issue to resolve itself quite rapidly. According to an exclusive report by CNBC, OpenAI chief executive Sam Altman will attend the G7 summit in France later this month. This marks the first time Altman will participate in the annual gathering of world leaders, following a personal invitation from French President Emmanuel Macron. OpenAI's Chief Global Affairs Officer, Chris Lehane, confirmed that Altman is expected to engage directly in leaders-level conversations at the summit, scheduled for June 15 to 17. Lehane stated that Altman's primary focus at the event will be youth safety online. Additionally, discussions will address frontier AI risks, particularly regarding cybersecurity and biological threats, which have drawn increased global concern following recent model releases. Macron has recently stepped up a charm offensive to woo global tech leaders as France seeks to build up its artificial intelligence infrastructure. This effort recently secured a massive €45 billion commitment from SoftBank to build AI infrastructure in the country. Other major tech firms, including Salesforce, have also pledged multi-billion-dollar investments. According to GG Press, French consumer protection authorities announced on June 3 that they have fined companies associated with the Chinese-linked online retailer SHEIN approximately €22.5 million, about 4.2 billion yen, for violating consumer and environmental laws. The authority stated that the fast fashion retailer failed to respect consumers' right to return purchases and neglected to provide necessary information regarding its apparel products. In response, SHEIN has strongly opposed the ruling, calling it unjust and discriminatory, and indicated its intention to appeal the decision to an administrative court, according to French media reports. This latest penalty brings the total amount of fines imposed on SHEIN in France over the past year to a staggering €210 million, approximately 39 billion yen. The heavy regulatory action underscores growing European scrutiny over the business practices and environmental compliance of rapid turnaround online retail platforms. According to NBC News, the United States has firmly dismissed suggestions by the European Union's top diplomat, Kaja Kallas, that American diplomats had evacuated Kyiv amid escalating Russian threats. The U.S. Embassy in Ukraine released a statement confirming that its operations remain unchanged and reports of a departure are entirely false. Ukraine also denied the evacuation claims, prompting the EU to issue a correction to Kallas's comments, attributing the statement to a misunderstanding. The development coincided with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy taking the rare step of sending a joint letter to President Donald Trump and the U.S. Congress. In the letter, Zelenskyy pleaded for urgent deliveries of Patriot Pact 3 missiles and other advanced air defense systems. He warned that ammunition stocks are falling dangerously short, noting the painful sight of empty Patriot batteries, while Ukraine remains almost exclusively dependent on the U.S. for anti-missile defense. This appeal comes after intensive Russian aerial bombardments targeted Kyiv, while British intelligence estimates that Russian casualties have now reached nearly 500,000 since the conflict began. According to a report by Line Xiaobao, Canada and Mexico have proposed a 16-year extension to the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, to secure North American trade stability and bypass a mandated annual joint review process. Canada's Minister of U.S.-Canada Trade, Dominic LeBlanc, formally suggested the extension in a letter to U.S. and Mexican officials. Following a meeting with U.S. Trade Representative Greer, LeBlanc characterized the discussions as positive, noting a thawing in previously stalled trade negotiations. However, Canada emphasized that resolving punitive U.S. tariffs on steel, aluminum, and automobiles remains a critical priority. Mexico's Economy Minister, Marcelo Ebrard, echoed the appeal for a 16-year renewal. Under the current agreement, which was signed in 2018 and took effect in 2020, the three nations must indicate their stance on renewal or renegotiation by July 1. For both Canada and Mexico, the trade pact's future is vital, as approximately 75% of Canadian exports and 80% of Mexican exports are bound for the United States. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.